For 25 years in 19th century Pennsylvania, the wealthy industrialist Jeremiah Hartwell took 5 different women as his brides. Each was bright, in good health, and full of vitality when she entered his grand Beacon Hill estate. Yet, one after another, every wife met the same dreadful end, a complete mental collapse within months of occupying the master bedroom. The pattern was so precise, so deliberate, that when the truth finally surfaced in 1835, it sent shockwaves not only through Millbrook County, but across all of Pennsylvania. What officials uncovered was no accident or ancestral hex, but something far more sinister, a calculated scheme that had shattered women's minds for generations. Tonight, we reveal the horrifying reality of what truly occurred within those walls, and how one man methodically drove 5 wives to insanity using tactics so cold and precise they still unsettle us today. Before we delve deeper into Jeremiah Hartwell's grim tale, be sure to subscribe to our channel and drop a comment below about where you're tuning in from. You might be startled by how close this darkness crept to your own doorstep. The events that would shake Pennsylvania began in the thriving town of Millbrook, nestled in the coal-rich valleys southwest of Pittsburgh. By 1820, the Industrial Revolution had turned this once quiet farming town into a hub of commerce, with factories lining the Monongahela River and newly affluent families constructing lavish estates on the surrounding hills. Jeremiah Hartwell arrived in Millbrook in 1821, a driven 25-year-old with a sharp eye for opportunity. Unlike many of his peers who inherited their fortunes, Jeremiah had climbed his way up from humble beginnings in rural Ohio. His father was a blacksmith, and from him, Jeremiah learned early that success demanded both intellect and relentless ambition. Within 5 years, he had founded Hartwell Iron Works, specializing in railroad parts desperately needed as the nation pushed westward. His mansion, finished in 1828, was a monument to his swift ascent. Perched on Beacon Hill, the 3-story Georgian structure boasted 42 rooms, imported marble, and sprawling gardens. Locals marveled at its opulence, particularly the master suite, which took up the entire east wing. No expense had been spared. French wallpaper, a massive cherrywood 4-poster bed, and tall windows offering sweeping valley views. Yet what made Jeremiah's rise even more striking was his charisma. Towering over 6 feet with piercing blue eyes and silver-streaked hair, he commanded attention effortlessly. Society matrons vied for his presence at gatherings, and the daughters of prominent families found themselves drawn to his polished charm and obvious wealth. He had an uncanny ability to make anyone feel like the most important person in the room. This blend of riches, allure, and status made Jeremiah the most sought-after bachelor in western Pennsylvania. When he announced his engagement to Margaret Dunlap, the 19-year-old daughter of a respected judge, the town celebrated what seemed a perfect union. Their October 1829 wedding was dubbed the social event of the decade, with over 300 guests filling St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church. Margaret's unraveling began subtly that spring. Once known for her sharp wit, she now seemed distracted during visits, often pausing to stare blankly at doorways. Her sister Catherine later wrote that Margaret spoke of the house as if it were alive, claiming it whispered to her. By summer, her behavior grew erratic. She refused to sleep anywhere but the master suite, insisting the house grew restless if she strayed. Staff noticed her watching habit, hours spent studying her reflection in the windows, tilting her head as if examining herself from new angles. The final breaking point came at a dinner party in August 1830. Mid-meal, Margaret rose abruptly and began arguing with her reflection in a hallway mirror, laughing shrilly at unheard replies. When Jeremiah tried to steer her away, she snapped that she wasn't finished speaking. Later that night, the head housekeeper found her naked, clawing the wallpaper from the walls, murmuring about secrets hidden beneath. The family physician, Dr. Harrison Henley, diagnosed severe nervous exhaustion, with obsessive melancholia. His notes recorded Margaret's fixation with mirrors, her belief that her reflection spoke to her. Within weeks, she was beyond reason, convinced the mirrors held messages only she could decipher. When relatives covered them, she fought like a caged animal, nails bleeding as she tore at the cloths. On September 15, 1830, Margaret gathered every mirror in the house, arranging them in a cryptic pattern around the bedroom. By dawn, she no longer recognized anyone, speaking only to the reflections she called her true family. Dr. Henley recommended commitment to the Pennsylvania Hospital for the Insane. That October, as leaves swirled outside, she was led away in a carriage, still calling over her shoulder to her other selves. She would spend the next 43 years there, forever searching for mirrors in her barred room. Margaret's fate sent ripples through Millbrook's elite, but most sympathized with Jeremiah, seeing him as a tragic figure struck by misfortune. Medical theories of the era blamed female hysteria on everything from excessive reading to the strains of domestic life. Dr. Henley's official report cited nervous overstimulation from her rapid social ascent, an explanation that satisfied the community. For 3 years, Jeremiah lived in seclusion, sealing the master suite and retreating to a third-floor room. Staff noted his nights spent poring over medical texts, his obsession with understanding mental afflictions. When word came in 1833 that Margaret had died in the asylum, he buried her quietly, her headstone reading only, "Beloved wife at peace." Yet those closest to him saw the loss had changed him. He grew meticulous about his appearance, constantly checking mirrors as if verifying his own normalcy. More tellingly, he began speaking of remarriage, not with romance, but clinical precision, drafting compatibility assessments. For potential brides, in 1834, he met Elena Rodriguez, the sharp-witted daughter of a Spanish merchant. Their courtship was brisk, and by June, she moved into the reopened master suite, delighted by its gleaming mirrors. For 6 months, she thrived, until winter brought the first signs of disturbance. Elena's maid, Maria, recorded the changes in her diary, her mistress spending hours before the vanity, whispering to her reflection. By March, Elena claimed the mirror woman revealed secrets about the house, details she couldn't possibly know. Dr. Henley, alarmed by the parallels to Margaret's case, noted Elena's fixation yet found her otherwise lucid. Jeremiah, however, reacted differently this time. Instead of seeking help, he began documenting her behavior like a scientist, testing which mirrors triggered her episodes. His journals reveal a man probing for patterns, questioning whether the cause was environmental. Elena's obsession deepened. She insisted the mirror woman was Margaret, warning her about hidden passages and Jeremiah's treachery. When she uncovered a concealed spy hole behind a wardrobe, the staff's unease turned to dread. By August 1835, Elena confronted Jeremiah, accusing him of poisoning her, just as he had Margaret. The headache tonics weren't medicine, she said, but drugs to make her seem mad. Faced with her defiance, Jeremiah summoned Dr. Henley, framing her claims as paranoid delusions, but Elena wasn't alone. The housekeeper, Sarah Quinn, broke her silence, confessing she'd prepared Jeremiah's remedies from unmarked bottles. Elena's father, Don Carlos, arrived demanding answers. When Elena led them to a hidden compartment containing surveillance logs and letters from a German doctor detailing experimental poisons, the truth was undeniable. Jeremiah's network extended beyond the mansion, a web of blackmail and corporate espionage. His marriages were covers, his wives disposable once they learned too much. Margaret's autopsy confirmed lethal doses of mercury. Elena's recovery after stopping the tonics proved her sanity. At trial, the evidence was damning. Jeremiah was convicted of murder, conspiracy, and fraud. He hanged in December 1835. Elena remarried and lived quietly, while the mansion, stripped of its mirrors and sealed passages, became a boarding house. The case spurred reforms in patient rights and exposed how easily women's voices were dismissed as madness. Today, a plaque in a Pittsburgh park honors Margaret and Eleanor, reminders of the price paid when power goes unchecked. What do you think? Was this the full truth, or were there other victims lost to history? Share your thoughts below. If you crave more chilling tales, subscribe and join us next time. The past has more secrets to tell.